Okay, it's 9:32 a.m. I'll be honest, I was pretty quick with this one. Immediately, I almost want to call it a scalp. Anyway, I bought LTNC at 363 when I started seeing some kind of reversal, potential reversal. Of course, you never know for sure if it's going to actually reverse. And again, because of the markets the way they are, that the first candle just spiked so much in comparison to the entire move, I'm quick to sell. So I bought at 363. And at 9:32, which was this green candle, I sold actually at 32.8. So, excuse me, I sold at 9:32.38, and I sold at 37.6, which was right here. At the moment, this was the top of the green candle. Now it's at 39, which is impressive. I think it was down roughly 15% at its lowest. I traded my full small $500 size, $400 size. My fill was pretty good. I sold again at 376. I bought at 363 because it was down on the day. It wasn't even on the main watch list. Because again, you don't know how much range this thing has. I mean, sure, you can say, well, it came from sub penny land, but you know, how does it get there? In what way? Very nice right here. It's at 40. I bought at 36.3. My entry was perfect, really. If it were to have failed, I would have considered buy another position if it's showing that it's holding, even though it just broke the level. But if it just continues a downtrend, that's when I'll have to cut losses quickly. Could have held longer, but you know, just wanted to play it safe, because lately we have seen these morning panic setups where the first candle is so big in comparison to the entire move. And that's what it ended up being. It bounced from 36 to 39, so that's roughly a 10% move in one candle. Again, I sold at 37.6 here. When this was the top, it did get even higher. The volume is fading, which is good. If it puts up like a double bottom, not a double bottom, a higher low like it did here, you know, just imagine this being 10 minutes different instead of a day, I will consider it. But I have to be cautious because there is going to be major support at 45. Not support, resistance. HMBL is doing a nice spike. It didn't do a morning panic, so I left it alone and looked at LTNC. We'll see what this one does, if it can reverse. I mean, it has a hard daily chart to fight against. Lots of resistance levels, but if it can do it, I don't see why not. You can say in theory it held this 120 level. Not perfectly. We had a wick at 1, but it's holding it now in the 140s, almost 150. DSCR. This is just, it could be a number 5. It's just a bit sketchy. I would like to see it up one more day. Here's one big green candle too. I'd like to see a third one, but if it drops, it just might be enough for a number 5 setup, but I'll play that very cautiously. I won't mind if it drops and I'm being picky with it and I missed the setup. That's nothing wrong with that. PLYZ is on its second day. Excuse me, it seems like it broke 28. Went under it, now it broke past it. Now it's at 31. That's nice. GVSI continues the uptrend. This looks like it's going to make a really nice number 5 setup. At least a potential in the future. I'll keep looking. I don't see any setups I want to trade right now for morning panics. I don't see any morning panics. Just a lot of uptrending. I'll be interested now in these runners if they do like a confirmed breakout, inverse head and shoulder, stuff like that. Just no random dip buys. Alright, it is 9:40 a.m. Just want to make an update. This is impressive. A 20% move with LTNC in 10 minutes. We had 1, 2, 3 candles of panic, and we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pretty good, no red candles, 8 either blank or green candles of uptrending. 20% move. This is so much better than what it's been previously, where you know, you have this panic, and I also sold here because, you know, VWAP might have held, but you know, panic, and then we have one candle, and then a blank candle, then a big candle, and then it falls back or does whatever it does. This is actually this is a serious number 5 setup. A serious number 5 setup. This one worked very nicely. I hope more setups continue to look like that. I'll actually hold for longer than the first candle. Now this might be a little overextended, so if it drops and it makes a higher low like right here, that might be too much droppage for me to consider it. But if it maybe drops and then, I don't know, maybe, I guess it's not even that good because then it won't hold green on the day. So this one kind of killed it in terms of me wanting to dip by a higher low with a larger size, because I tend to like those a little better than just a random morning panic. But it could totally happen, it could totally work out. It's just going to be a watch for now. HMBL is uptrending. Again, I don't want to long this. I don't like the resistance. You know, it's just going to fight a long 5 PLYZ first red candle. It's just going to be a watch. PLYZ would be the closest, I think, to a potential buy because it's only the second day, and if it does like a confirmed breakout or something, or if it breaks out of this range again and then it drops and holds it or something like that, I'll be interested because it's early. Somewhat early the second day, maybe it still has more room left for an uptrend. Nothing I want to trade with GVSI. It's just going to be a continuation. It's just going to be a continued watch until, you know, maybe I see a different setup, something to trade. Right now it's just no obvious trades I want to take at the moment. Alright, it is 10:07 a.m. OCGN is a NASDAQ stock, and I would consider this for an inverse head and shoulders. Shoulder, head, shoulder, wick to risk off of 627 or 628. Might even do it right here below VWAP. It might have room to run. It can show that it can spike. We have shoulder, spike, head, and then a larger spike. So this might even be in a more aggressive spike, or it could absolutely fail. And I think it's going to fail. And I'm not trading it, although it can still work out because it's only up 15% on the day. And when you look at the chart, it's not having a first green day or anything nice like that. It's not up a lot. I'm just looking at this stock because somebody mentioned it in the chat room. You can call it, I guess, a first green day because it's a gap up from the previous day, but that's all that is doing. Had this have been up 40, 50, 60 or more on the day as in percentage, lots of volume as well, no big volume days like here that could have bag holders, you know, it'd be more odds in my favor. I'd probably consider a trade, but because all of these things are in the way, on top of that, I want to put money into the speculative trade, $100, 100 shares, a $600 position, and then I'm wrong on it because it just wasn't a nice setup, and then it takes away from my profits. I need to trade morning panics with larger size. I need to consider that again. I did it at one point. I need to go back and start considering that. And, you know, I don't want to have a bad trade with this because it wasn't a perfect setup, and then I lose profits or whatever. You know, it takes away from the little that I made because I traded small. So I'm going to make an update, I guess, and see if this thing works out. My guess is that it can, but I'm not going to trade it. It could fail totally. Had this have been up 60% on the day, a better long-term chart, no big volume days compared to the day, you know, of this pattern, I traded, but not going to be a trade. You know, looks like it might reject right here. Yeah, there we go, 624 on the bid. That killed the pattern because it broke the head right here. I guess I won't have to make an update. It failed. It goes to show that even if you see a pattern that you like and it looks nice in theory, because it looks nice until we had this big red candle, you have to take into consideration all these other things. Didn't work out here. I don't know why people are still trading NASDAQs, but I guess if you're being a short seller, that's actually perfect because a lot of them just fade the entire day. GVSI is below VWAP. I don't see anything that I want to trade with this. Looks like, what do you call it, a stair stepper, maybe a stair step on the upside. I could make an inverse head and shoulders. That wouldn't be too bad, but it has to prove that it can spike to 1 penny with volume. We don't have that. At least not right now. PLYZ, nothing I want to trade. Volume fading too. DSCR is fading too. It could be like GVSI and make an inverse head and shoulders, although this one will be kind of weird. I like GVSI more, even though it's a bit choppy. It'll just be a wash. HMBL maybe is going to make a head and shoulders, an uptrending head and shoulders, so that could signal an uptrend. Again, I just don't like where it is on the 30-day chart. It's going to be resistance everywhere. RGBP is trying to have its first green day. I need to learn that. If there was something in the challenge that I could specifically focus on, where it's nothing but the first green day of a former runner and how to trade those, I need to learn that. I need to look and see if I can find stuff related to that. It's probably out there. Right now, no trades, just gonna be a continued watch. Okay, it's 11:15 a.m. I haven't really been looking at the markets too much. A little, yes, was looking at potential setups, but nothing I really like. I think I'm just gonna have to watch and learn more about first green days, a stock that is up the first day. This one not so much, it's up a little bit, but a stock that is basically having a nice first green day after our previous run up. I need to learn those a little. LTNC is doing uptrending, higher lows, nothing I want to trade. Maybe would have considered it for a VWAP triangle, that setup I looked at last week, I believe. It's not really doing it, so it's a no-go for me. RGBP looking like it's running out of volatility. HMBL similar to LTNC, just don't want to trade it. Eventually cracked and reversed here, which is nice. Not a large move in terms of percentage. DSCR, I consider this for a slow number 5. Was waiting for it to put up a higher low, but it never did that. Instead, it just uptrended here, and it's not really the same anymore. I liked it because it was very far from VWAP. PLYZ broke VWAP. This is like a confirmed breakdown, so it breaks VWAP, tries to get past it, rejects it. 32 to 27. That's not bad in terms of a short. I wonder if PLYZ is shortable. I wouldn't have really shorted it on the second day, maybe, but you know, just something to take into consideration. This could be more like a VWAP triangle. It drops this much below VWAP, and then it drops just a little more, but it needs to show that it can spike. If it can spike towards 10, or ideally higher, and then it drops right at the VWAP level, that'll be a nice potential buy. This is the only thing I'll be looking at. Probably won't be a setup. I'm going to just call it off anyway right now, unless I do happen to trade it, and I'll go over it. Otherwise, that's all I got. I think it's a pretty good trading day. Nice trade attempt with LTNC. This is nice. I hope we see more of these. You know, a bounce after a morning panic that can actually last. And not just last, but make more than a 10% move. This was a 20% move. I hope we can see more of those, and then I'll start adapting to that as well. It did do a higher low, but it was kind of far from this low, and it was also right on the day at this point, so I didn't like it too much. A bit conflicting, so I didn't trade that. Once again, a pretty good trading day. I'll just have to keep going at it and try studying first green day setups more.